If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell to get noted when we upload a video. Thank you. So first let us know about the background to this story. So South Africa was ruled by the whites and there were no blacks or any other colored people in the government. And this government followed the policy of apartheid. This policy discriminated people based on their colors. To put it simple, it was a form of racism. The whites, they get to enjoy all the privileges. They had the right to vote, they had the right to speech and everything. But everything that was given to anyone other than whites were limited. So whites enjoyed complete freedom, whereas the rest of the people were treated like slaves. Nelson Mandela strongly opposed this inhumane practice. Inhumane practice means a practice that doesn't treat everyone equally. Okay, and this is considered inhumane because you are denying the rights of the other person to live freely. You are living freely, but you are not letting your fellow men to live freely. So that's why it is called as an inhumane practice. So Nelson Mandela joined the African National Congress and fought against this in the society. But the government told, it actually branded that African National Congress, ANC, is a terrorist organization. Just because he fought for the rights, just because the African National Congress Party fought for equal rights, they were branded as terrorists. And Mandela had to spend nearly 27 years in prison. Then later, after lots of struggles, not only by Nelson Mandela, also by many other people, they got freedom. And democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994. Only in 1994, democratic elections were held. Previously, the elections were held only for the whites. Though the blacks and other colored people lived along with them, the election was completely under the control of the whites. Only the white people got the right to vote and choose their government. The blacks and other colored peoples were denied this right. So only in 1994 democratic elections were held. And the word democratic is very important because democracy is the form of government that gives equal rights to everyone. And in that election, in the 1994 democratic election, African National Congress won and Nelson Mandela became its first black president. So Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa in 1994. And this is the background to our story. Let's see about the chapter. The first thing that you have to know about is where did this chapter come from. This chapter is an extract from Nelson Mandela's autobiography, and the name of the book is also the name of our chapter. Long Walk to Freedom is the name of the book, and the same title has been given to the chapter. And the chapter that has been prescribed to us is the 115th chapter in the original book, and it is the final chapter of the book. But we do not have the entire chapter. 4 paragraphs from the original text are excluded. And this chapter is about the inauguration ceremony of Nelson Mandela as the President of South Africa, and also about the events that led to him becoming the President of South Africa. Let us quickly know the difference between a biography and an autobiography. If anyone other than you write a book about your life, it's a biography. If you write a book about your life, it's an autobiography. So this is the first important line. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the rainbow gathering of different colors. So what Nelson Mandela tells here is the amphitheater formed by the Union buildings of Pretoria, it was once the a place where only the whites were allowed. Okay, so in the amphitheater where he is standing, previously the rights to enter that amphitheater and all those buildings were denied to blacks and other colored people. But today, the place where his rights and his people's rights were denied, he stands as a president. And not only that, the amphitheater is filled with people of different colors. So he compares this to rainbow. In a rainbow, we have 7 different colors coming together beautifully. So he tells this gathering is similar to rainbow because people of different colors, irrespective of their race, is present in the amphitheater, which once used to be the seat of white supremacy. The place once allowed only the whites. So it was like that building was considered as whites building, and it showed that whites were superior to all the other races. But now everyone are present there. That's why Nelson Mandela compares it to rainbow gathering of different colors. So the next important line is, out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. So what South Africa experienced was something so inhumane. Okay, the people, just because of their skin color, they were not given the rights. All the rights were denied to them. So Mandela calls the policy of apartheid as an extraordinary human disaster. And here the word extraordinary doesn't give a positive meaning. It is used to give a negative sense to express how worst apartheid was. Okay, and he also further adds that from such a society, people who had been oppressed for a long time, people who had suffered all the cruelties of apartheid for a long time, should be born a society that all the other nations should be proud of. He wants his people to be equal. He wants everyone to be equal. He wants everyone to be treated equal. So he tells, we can do that because we have suffered a lot and we know what it is to be oppressed. So out of this society, Nelson Mandela tells, a society should be born where everyone are treated equally. A society which the whole world will be proud of. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before, they would not have saluted but arrested me. So it was during the inauguration ceremony. All the police officers were saluting Nelson Mandela and all the other police officials were saluting Nelson Mandela and honoring him since he is the president. Though they are saluting him, Nelson Mandela remembers, he is aware that if it had been few years back, these police officers would not have saluted him but arrested him because he was considered as a terrorist. And that was because of the policy of apartheid. He didn't truly do any terrorist activities. He was considered a terrorist just because the government believed that whites are superior and any other people of any other race are inferior. So Nelson Mandela tells, now they are saluting me. But if it had been few years back, they wouldn't have saluted me but arrested me since I was considered a terrorist because of my race. And this is one of the best lines from the book. Courage is not the absence of fear but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid but he who conquers that fear. Okay. For example, take this. If you have to call a person as intelligent, his intelligence should have been tested and proven. Only then you can tell that he is intelligent. Similarly, you can call a person courageous only after he has faced his fear and overcome his fear. Until he has not faced his fear and overcome it, he could not be called as a courageous person. So that's what Nelson Mandela tells. Courage is not the absence of fear, because no man can claim that he is not afraid of anything. Everyone in the world will be afraid of something. Okay, so courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Triumph means victory. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So who is a brave man? A brave man is not the one who tells he is not afraid of anything, that he doesn't have any fear. No, it's impossible for such a man to exist. Okay, a brave man is one who has faced his fears. Okay, he will be afraid of something. He doesn't run away from that. Instead, he faces that fear and he overcomes that fear. Such a person can be called as a brave person. Okay. No one is born hating each other for the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must be taught to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. When a child is born into the world, it does not know anything about hatred. But when the child grows, they are taught to hate people in the name of caste, race, religion, etc. Mandela tells that a person has to learn to hate. Okay, he has to take time, he has to be taught, and he has to learn. Only then he can start hating another person. But love is something natural to human beings. Love is something natural to human beings. It doesn't have to be learned because it comes naturally. So Mandela wants all the humans to express their love, because it is much more easier to express love than hatred. Okay, you have to be taught to hate. You have to learn to hate. But love is more natural for humans, so it could be expressed easily. So if you avoid hatred, you could easily express love than hatred. And this is a thought-provoking line. I knew the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Okay, so whenever we think of slavery or anything, we think only of physical slavery. Okay, if a man is a slave to another man, he is a slave, and this is physical slavery. Okay, and what happened in South Africa is almost the same. Okay, it was, the oppression was physical, but there is also another form of oppression. Okay, that's what Mandela talks about here. I knew the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Okay, so he tells the oppressor, the person who oppresses others, okay, he is a prisoner of hatred. Okay, he is a prisoner of hatred. So if something controls you, you are a prisoner of that. Okay, the oppressors are controlled by their hatred towards other race, so they are prisoners of hatred. So Mandela tells, just as the oppressed The oppressor is also not free. He is a prisoner of hatred. He is a prisoner of hatred and he has to be liberated. Liberated means freed from hatred. Okay, and this can be achieved only through love. To better put it, if you are addicted to something, for example, if you are addicted to smoking and you have no control over smoking, it means you are a slave to smoking, because you cannot control yourself. Okay, you don't have any control yourself over yourself to stop smoking. Okay, you have an urge to smoke and immediately you go and smoke. Okay, so if you are addicted to something, you are being controlled by something. If you are being controlled by something, it means you are a slave to it. So just like that, here the oppressor is a slave to hatred. Okay, he is controlled by hatred. That's why he oppresses the other people. So Mandela tells he must be liberated from hatred. Okay, he is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Prejudice means hating others for no valid reason. Okay, for example, you are telling, I hate him. Why do you hate him? Because he is black. What is that? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Or let me give you one more example. Why do you hate her? She is a woman. That's why I hate her. Okay, and this is not a valid reason. This is not a valid reason. These kind of things are called as prejudice. Okay, hating someone for no valid reason, like the reason that they give will be very stupid and silly. Okay, and narrow-mindedness. They are not able to think broad. They are not able to think like everyone are equal, no matter to what race they belong, to what country they belong, to what religion they belong. They don't have that broad-mindedness. They have the narrow-mindedness of only the whites are superior, anyone other than whites are inferior. So Nelson Mandela tells they are locked behind the bars. Locked behind the bars means they are in the prison of prejudice and narrow-mindedness, and they have to be liberated from that. So the title of the book is taken from the closing lines of the book, and this is the last paragraph of the book Long Walk to Freedom, and this should have been in our chapter, but it has been excluded. So here is the last paragraph. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I have discovered the secret that after climbing the great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can rest only for a moment, for with freedom comes responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk to freedom has not ended. So the closing lines, I dare not linger, for my long walk to freedom has not ended. From this, the title of the book has been taken. Thank you.